half a month later, the palace gate of Heaven One Palace suddenly opened, and Xianxia stepped out from the inside with a calm expression. After half a month of research, he finally figured out what secrets were hidden in that stone tablet. Star refining art. This is not technique, nor a martial skill, but a secret technique that teaches cultivator how to refine the star source. When he figured it out, Xianxia was taken aback. He didn't expect that the record in the stone token was such an incredible thing. Refining the star source origin, this is extremely difficult. Only those who are in the strong Void King realm are qualified to do it, and once the origin of a certain cultivation star is refined, then on this cultivation star, this Void King realm is the master. He will become the star master of this cultivation star. The power of the star master, Xianxia already understood when he first entered the star territory. The entire star territory is vast, but there are still very few who can become a star master. Because if someone wants to be a star master, it not only requires a superhuman level of cultivation, but also has great risks. The origin of the stars is the essence of a cultivation star. Refining it is destined to be a feat with risk and benefit. If it succeeds, it will naturally give the refiner unimaginable benefits, but if it fails, the divine soul will end up being extinguishes. Since the ancient times, don't know how many powerhouses want to conquer a certain cultivation star and refine the star source. These powerhouses are all prestigious existences. It can be said that each of them is a genius among the geniuses and the strong people among the powerhouses. However, those who succeeded in refining the origin of the stars and became the star masters are still rare. It's not known how many geniuses have fallen in the process of conquering the cultivation star. This is the case with the constant gathering chamber of commerce, which Xianxia is more familiar with. The entire constant gathering chamber of commerce has 7 or 8 cultivation stars, and there are more than a dozen strong void kings, but there is only one star master. Others dare not try to refine the origin of the stars. After all, this is like dancing on the tip of a knife. If it succeeds, the reward is glory and will be admired by the entire star territory, but if it fails, they will be forever embarrassed. Those who are in the strong Void King realm will easily make fun of their lives. No wonder Shui said that this stone token was useless for the Void Return stage, but only useful for the Void King realm. As a major force in the star territory, the constant gathering chamber of commerce also has a star master level powerhouse. Naturally, there are methods for refining the origin of the stars, but the method they have mastered is infinitely inferior to the star refining art recorded in the stone token. Star refining art can be said to be the most high-end secret technique, the most perfect method of refining the origin of stars. And Shui will go to the Emperor Garden on this trip. Also for the star refining art, the head of the constant gathering chamber of commerce IU's cultivation base has been stuck in the second order Void King for many years. He has been unable to make progress, but if he can refine the origin of the stars, he can break through to the highest peak, that is the third order. Don't know where he got the news. It is said that there are extremely powerful star refining secret technique in the Emperor Garden, so Shui personally brought a group of elites into it. Otherwise, with the financial resources of the constant gathering chamber of commerce, how could Shui personally get in to take risks? But when the star refining art was found, she missed it. Xianxia didn't recognize the 3 ancient text on the stone tablet, but Shui did. That's why she was so urgent at that time. The role of star refining art is still too far away for Xianxia, not to mention his lack of cultivation level. Even if it is enough, he does not dare to refine the origin of stars without full assurance. So after studying for a while, he put it away. Out of the Heaven One Palace. Before Xianxia took a few steps, he met a few disciples of High Heaven sect. After seeing Xianxia, these disciples hurriedly bowed and said, "I have seen the sect master. Everything is well in the sect?" Xianxia asked casually. "Back to the sect master. There has been no change in the sect since your retreat. The disciples have been cultivating diligently, but the great elder has returned from the 6th floor." "Oh, is she back?" Xianxia was a little surprised. But there is nothing to think about it. Yang Yan is still asleep now, and it will take at least 10 years before she really wakes up, and it is useless to stay there. So she will naturally return to High Heaven sect. After all, she was also instructed by Yang Yan to assist Yang Kai with all her strength. How can she assist Yang Kai if she always stays on the 6th floor? It is not convenient to communicate and meet each other. That's fine. Yang Kai nodded slightly, and then ordered to tell Huang Wan to take Lin Yunair to see me at the Great Elder's residence. Yes. Although the disciples didn't know what Yang Kai wanted to see Huang Wan and Lin Yunair for, they didn't ask much, and hurried away. Beiwahu, where Yangjin and Ye Shiyan lived before. Although the flowers are still blooming and competing for beauty, but now the entire Beiwahu is only Ye Shiyan. When Yang Kai came here, he found that she was resting in the stone pavilion. She seemed to be thinking about something. Even his arrival was not noticed. It wasn't until Yang Kai coughed that Ye Shiyan suddenly woke up, raised her eyes and said lightly, "It turns out that the sect master is here, and his subordinates have seen the sect master." With that said, she got up. "You're welcome." Yang Kai waved his hand, came to sit opposite her, poured himself a cup of fragrant tea, and asked after a moment of indifference, "How is Yang Yan?" "Well, the Lord is fine, but will continue to sleep for a while, so the sect master does not have to worry about it." "That's good." Yang Kai nodded slightly, and then suddenly asked, "What will the Great Elder do in the future?" Ye Shiyan glanced at him suspiciously, stroked her hair and said, "Which aspect does the Lord refer to?" "Why, the Great Elder knowingly asked you will stay here just for the sake of the Great Emperor. I don't know why you are so persistent for the Great Emperor, but are you going to wait here until she wakes up?" "Yes." Ye Shiyan nodded lightly. "Is there any problem?" "There is no problem." Yang Kai smiled slightly. "It's just that the Great Elder is willing to waste time like this. Don't want to go further in the void return stage?" "Go further." Ye Shiyan shrank her eyes, showing a strange brilliance. If the sect master has something to say, why bother playing words with his subordinates? "You are a senior, don't claim to be a subordinate anymore." "I'm so uncomfortable." Yang Kai twitched. "Well, it's like this. Now High Heaven sect doesn't need to worry about being invaded. The defenses around is impregnable. As long as the disciples don't go out, they won't be hurt at all, and we don't lack cultivation materials, so I want to leave Hera." "Leave here?" Ye Shiyan frowned slightly, wondering what Yang Kai was talking about. "Have a long voyage, leave the shadowed star." Yang Kai stared at her. Ye Shiyan couldn't help but move her face. "The sect master means." "I just want to ask, do you want to leave with me?" Yang Kai grinned. "You should have reached the limit of the void return stage. The reason for not being promoted should be because of the suppression of the laws of heaven and earth here. If you leave this restraint with your qualifications and strength, there is a high chance of being promoted to the Void King realm. And we have the conditions to do this now. What do you think?" "Leave." Ye Shiyan's beautiful eyes were full of expectation, but she soon returned to calm, looking at Yang Kai and asking, "Sect master will be coming back, right?" "Of course I will come back." Yang Kai nodded. "To tell you the truth, I'm leaving here just to find some people. After I find them, I will come back. Although the star territory is big, if I want to find a place to stay, it is not easy. Of course I will not give up High Heaven sect." "That's it." Ye Shiyan also relieved. "Although the sect master is kind, please forgive his subordinates for refusing." "Tell me your reason." Yang Kai looked at her with a smile. "My lord is still asleep, I can't leave. Besides, if the sect master and I leave at the same time, no one can preside over the overall situation if something happens in the sect." "Sure enough." Yang Kai nodded slightly, as if he knew she would say this a long time ago. Ye Shiyan rolled her eyes and said in amazement, "The sect master is actually only going to tell me about this? He doesn't really want me to follow?" "Hee hee." Yang Kai chuckled. "The choice is yours. You decide whether to go or not." "I won't say anything, but..." Yang Kai changed his expression and said with a serious face, "Thank you anyway." She could resist the temptation of being promoted to the Void King realm, and still insisted on staying at the High Heaven sect, guarding Xianxia's gateway to this place. Ye Shiyan deserved a sincere thanks. Both of them knew it well, so Ye Shiyan didn't mean to deny it either, just nodding lightly. Suddenly, she looked up and asked softly, "Are these two people called by the sect master?" Xianxia released spiritual mind to check, nodded and said, "Yes." The visitors were naturally Huang Wan and Lin Yunair. The little girl was led by Huang Wan and strolled from there, but when she saw such a large-scale beautiful flower, Lin Yunair was like a wild horse without her rein, and rushed into the flower garden. Huang Wan was shocked, and quickly ran to catch Lin Yunair, and dragged her to the stone pavilion. Lin Yunair looked unhappy, her mouth pouting. "I have seen the sect master and the great elder." Huang Wan quietly looked at Ye Shiyan while saluting. She had been in the High Heaven sect for a while, and she naturally knew that there was a great elder in this sect, but unfortunately she had never been able to meet. Now Xianxia had to summon him to see Ye Shiyan's appearance. "Sit down." Xianxia gestured and waved to Lin Yunair. The little girl gave him a blank eye, hid in Huang Wan's arms, glanced at Xianxia vigilantly from the corner of her eye, leaving Xianxia speechless for a while. "Have you both accustomed to living here?" Xianxia turned to Huang Wan and asked. "Thanks to the blessing of the sect master, the subordinates in Yunair are doing well here." "Well, go find Wu Yi if you need something, she will take care of everything. You are not outsiders, you are welcome. Thanks to sect master for your great kindness." Huang Wan looked moved. "By the way, this is a congealing void pill. Take it first and retreat for a while. You should be able to be promoted to void return stage. Remember to go to Dragon Palace when you want to break through. There are 10,000 years incense and 9 curved crystal jade tree available there. These two things can help you get rid of your inner demons, understand the heavenly law martial Dao, and greatly increase the chance of breakthrough." To be continued.